And even though it hurts, I'm chasing what I know is true. There's nothing that I would not do. When everyone around me drops, I'm never gonna ever stop. I won't waste another minute, no, I won't. I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man on a mission. I don't need no permission. I'm a man on a mission. Take it up now, take it up. I ain't waiting and wishing. Take it up now, take it up. Oh, I got that ambition. Take it up now, take it up. I'm a man on a mission. When you look into my eyes, you know you're gonna see that fire. If you're standing in my way, it ain't gonna be your day. Bleeding till I own this dream. Build it like you've never seen. Even at the mountaintop, I'm never gonna ever stop. I won't wait another minute, no, I won't. I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man on a mission. I don't need no permission. I'm a man on a mission. Take it up now, take it up. I ain't waiting and wishing. Take it up now, take it up. Oh, I got that ambition. Take it up now, take it up.
Alright guys, welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Let's Talk Television. Today I'll be covering kind of a main topic of talking about limited time series and why, in my opinion, they are no longer limited, right? they have kind of lost their value in that name. And then we'll go on to talk a little bit about some news about Danny McBride and his new show on HBO. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Breaking Bad reunion news and some Better Call Saul crossover news. And then, of course, I'll go over my notable performance and notable episode from this week in television. And then, of course, a Q&A segment at the end. All right. So, I hope that that intro is, I hope you guys like that. That is obviously a new one with this season. You know, I wanted to change things up a little bit, right? You know, make a new intro, make you know, and everything like that. So, the audio seems to be working here just well, and so I think we are ready to go. So, thank you for those of you who are tuning in to the live episodes. I do really appreciate it, obviously, and I appreciate the ones who are tuning in afterwards too. You know, don't get me wrong. I know, you know, the majority of the viewers of these episodes are usually after it's published, and of course I still appreciate that. I recognize that not everyone can make, you know, a certain time, you know, every week. So, you know, definitely understood there. So, okay, so it looks like everything's good. I just get really you know, kind of worried about this just because of the problems I've had in the past, of course, with this stuff. So, but anyways, everything's looking good. So today we're going to talk about limited time series. And I think I shared some of these opinions last episode, where I was talking about, what was I talking about? I guess I was talking about The Sinner and The Terror. I think they are both kind of news pieces last week. Well, The Sinner release date I was talking about, and then The Terror news of it being renewed. And in that episode I was talking about, well, limited series, like it's kind of a joke now, right? Or at least in my opinion it is, because, you know, shows are saying, oh, it's going to be a limited time series, only 10 episodes, or only 13 episodes, only 8 episodes, and then, you know, a month later when the show has, you know, gotten popular, gotten the ratings, gotten the viewership, okay, well, let's go on and do another season. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of what it's become, right? And that's why I'm saying why a limited series is no longer limited, right? Like, it pretty much is just a series. When you have a show now, or at least, you know, as of recent, that says it's a limited time series, you know, most of the time, as of right now, it will not be a limited time series. Like, they're gonna get another season. And that's what, like, limited time series means. It's only the amount of episodes that, you know, season 1 has, or like that they just come out with, right? So if they have 8 episodes, they made 8 episodes, and they say it's a limited time series, that means that the series, the whole TV series, will only have those 8 episodes, right? And so, for example, with The Sinner, like, they had 8 episodes, and now they've just renewed for a season 2. I'm not sure how many episodes it actually is. It might be 10 episodes this season for season 2, or it might be 8. I'm really not sure. But anyways, that's more than the original 8 that they said, and that means that it's not a limited time series anymore, right? And I don't know, like, you know, some people are going to be like, well, you know, why do you have a problem with that, right? Like, you know, why wouldn't you want another season of this show if it's that good? Which I would definitely agree with. I mean, if a show is as good as The Sinner, The Terror, also Big Little Lies, I'm going to touch on too. If a show is as good as that, I mean, then why don't we get another season, right? But my main argument to contradict that would be, well, if it's that good in season 1, what are the chances, and if we look through history at other shows that have done this, that have that had a really good first season, then they come back for a second season, and it just really isn't as good, and it even maybe even to the point where it tarnishes the reputation of the first season. And that's something that I really think could happen with The Sinner, The Terror. It did happen with 13 Reasons Why, in my opinion. Big Little Lies, like the season 2, we haven't seen that yet, so can't judge on that one yet. But season 1 was obviously very good. You know, an acclaimed season for television, right? I think they're gonna win. You know, a lot of Emmys. They won. Was it the Golden Globes? I think they won a bunch of stuff for at the Golden Globes or whatever. So anyways, or did they win the Emmys too? I don't know. I lost track of when Big Little Lies season 1 was out. I never saw it, so you know, but I did know at the time that it was, you know, really popular show and all that. So but anyways, so that's my main argument to that, right? Is like, well, that can only really go so far. Like, if this series is good enough, okay, well, yeah, you know, like, why wouldn't you want another season? Well, because that next season, I mean, if you get a season 1, like a season 1 of The Sinner or a season 1 of The Terror, what's saying that a season 2 is going to be better than that, right? Like, and again, I mean, with these type of series, I'm also going to touch on the anthology series now. Like, that is pretty much just a full-blown huge thing right now in television, is these anthology series, or at least for me, like, from what I've seen from the shows I watch, like, it's crazy how big this idea has become, really, like, over the years, you know, of you know, this television, you know, craze. But and yeah, so I mean, like, even with these anthology series, like, can you even compare a season 1 to a season 2, right? Like, does it even tarnish the reputation that it built in season 1 if it's about a totally different story, right? So there's a lot of components to this, you know, discussion and everything like that. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this too. Please share with me what you think of this. You know, do you think that a limited series is actually a limited series, or do you kind of agree with me? Do you think it's no longer limited, right? Like, you know, when a show promises a limited series, is it actually really going to come through on that promise? And my opinion is no. I just think, like, a limited time series is it just does not hold true anymore for recent times in television with the popularity and everything like that. So anyway, so please let me know what you guys think. So yeah, so I'm going to talk about 4 shows in specific, and then I want to talk about a show that's coming this summer, and this is what kind of sparked me to talk about this week on Let's Talk Television. So also, just quickly, you know, kind of in between things, sorry to interrupt the talk here, but yeah, I just want to say thank you for the support on episode 1 of season 2. Really do appreciate it. The season 2 is going to be pretty big. I think I'm working on a collab with another YouTuber that's hopefully going to be up next week's episode, and I'm also looking to get an interview with an actor or an actress from a show that I've watched in the past to come on and hopefully do that as an episode. So we'll see what's happening, but this season should be really good, so stay tuned. Another 12 episodes this season, and then season 3 will be later on for the fall season of television. So anyways, so back to this. So okay, so let's just kind of dive in with the shows I mentioned before, right? So the Sinner, the Terror, 13 Reasons Why. Now, I have heard some stuff about 13 Reasons Why. Now, originally when I first watched it and when I first heard of the show, at least to my knowledge, it was a limited series. That's what I thought, because there was only one book, right? Like there was just one book, and season 1 covered the whole book, right? So usually when a show does that, they cover a whole book, and then, you know, they get to the end of the material. That's pretty much it. Like, you know, that's pretty much it for the show or movie. Like, movies do that, and they don't usually get a sequel, right? Like, they do a book, and that's it. Like, that's what it is. And so for 13 Reasons Why, I thought that it was a limited series, but some people are now saying that, no, it was never advertised as that, you know, maybe that was just a misconception with the book. And that could be the case. Like, that really could be the case. I'm not exactly sure. I would have to go back, obviously, you know, for Netflix advertising and all that stuff to see if they actually did advertise this as a limited series, or did they actually advertise it as like a season 1 and then like season 2 could be possible and stuff like that. Because I think also, like, when they got a season 2 renewal, I think a lot of people were surprised. So I think that kind of proves that it was supposed to be kind of a limited series. I think that was their original plan. Like, let's just say that. Like, I don't think Netflix truly thought to themselves, you know, before they released the show or anything, and they knew how popular it was, that they were going to be like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to do a season 2, right? You know, because they already ran out of book material and everything. So I really didn't think that they genuinely thought that they would have a season 2 after this season 1. And so 13 Reasons Why, they go with a season 1. I actually really enjoyed season 1. Again, I think in episode 10 of season 1 of Let's Talk Television, which was, I think, four weeks ago. Yeah, I think 4 weeks ago now. You should go watch that episode, because I shared a lot of thoughts about 13 Reasons Why and season 2 in specific, why I thought season 2 was a mistake of being made. So in season 1, though, I agree with the criticisms of you know, a lot of people saying the glorification of suicide and some other issues that were just kind of misrepresented, in my opinion. But I really did like the actors. I thought the actors did great. Most of the actors, right? The main cast did really good. And just the whole way that the season was laid out, with the 13 tapes, each episode talking about a different person who was on that tape, and everything just connecting like that. Like, I really enjoyed that in season 1, and I felt like they really they did it masterfully. The way they just lined that all up, and it all fit. And then the finale, we saw like the undoing of Hannah. So everything just really fit well within that 13 episodes. And then they come back with a season 2. And they try to bring back a Polaroid thing now, so they're trying to have like a Polaroid every 3 episodes, and that just really did not work. It was almost to the point where I was like cringing every time they brought up a Polaroid, because it was just so obvious that the creators and the writers were just trying to push this idea of what they succeeded with in season 1, with a tape per episode, and then a tape, you know, corresponding with the series. They just try to do that again with the Polaroid, and it just seems so contrived and so forced that it just really wasn't enjoyable at all. So my whole point of this is, you know, at the end of the day, for 13 Reasons Why, is season 2, in my opinion, definitely tarnished the reputation that it had for season 1. I think if you stop at season 1 for 13 Reasons Why, I think it's a very big show. Like, I think it's influential. I think it does a lot of things well, and I think it, you know, obviously there's some criticism with it, but I think it is a show that we kind of need. You know what I mean? Like, it really is that type of show. But then with season 2, I just really felt like it, you know, really forced. I mean, in my opinion, I think they just did it because 13 Reasons Why season 1 was so popular. They got the viewership. They made so much money off of it. They're like, okay, Brian Yorkie, who's the creator, like, Brian, go make a season 2. Like, we gotta, capitalize on this money and popularity. That's what I felt happened, because I really don't think they genuinely had a story that they were like, okay, we have to tell this, so we need another season. You know what I mean? So that's what my gripe is with 13 Reasons Why. I just really don't think season 2 had to be made. And again, that's like what I'm saying. Season 2 tarnished season 1 at 13 Reasons Why, in my opinion. So why make it? Why just stick with season 1? You know what I mean? So then The Sinner. this is maybe my biggest example of this point that I'm trying to make here with the limited series no longer being limited. And this was on USA last summer, and this is also the thumbnail for the video today, or for the episode. So the Sinner, I mean, like, this is the biggest example. So on USA, right, they advertised this limited series, 8-episode. I think maybe even they said mini-series. Like, they said, like, 8-episode limited time series on USA this summer. The Sinner, Jessica Biel, Bill Pullman. Who's the other? Damn, I forget who the other the guy is in it. He looks like Jon Snow a little bit. He looks like that guy. I forget his name. But anyways, I'll probably remember it a little bit later. But anyways, so they advertised this like that, right? Like, I honestly, I remember the promotions and the posters and everything saying limited series on USA, like, tune in now and stuff like this. And what happens? Season 1 is the #1 cable series of the summer, and I think it was like the top 5 cable series of the year in 2017. They have popularity. They have really high ratings for USA. Like, USA really, really did well with the series. Jessica Biel, in my opinion, deserves an Emmy. She had an amazing performance. Bill Pullman did really well. So just a lot of good stuff for Season 1. And what happens? They renew for Season 2. And it's coming, I think it's August 1st. I think it's August 1st. So we got, like, about a month now. Actually, almost exactly a month, till the Sinner Season 2. And like, this is my point, right? Like, they advertised a limited series, and they really, really push that idea. It's a limited series that's based off a book, right? And again, they cover the whole book material, and that's it. Like, that's the whole story. And they end up with Season 8, or Episode 8, the finale. They tie all the loose knots up, and it's a complete story with the 8 episodes. And they kept saying repeatedly, they said, like, 8 episodes, no, this is it. This is the end of this story. And then we get a Season 2 of The Sinner. Now, with The Sinner, again, I haven't seen Season 2 yet, right? None of us have seen Season 2. So, I mean, if Season 2 is up to par with Season 1, then I really don't have a problem with it at the end of the day. Like, if it's going to be as good, then why not? But I have a feeling it's probably not going to be, because Jessica Biel stole the show in Season 1. Like, she was one of the main reasons why The Sinner Season 1 was so successful. And now with Season 2, she's not around, and Bill Pullman is going to kind of have to guide the show. Obviously, they're adding Carrie Coon and Tracy Letts, two, pretty good actors. Not pretty good is kind of insulting, actually. Like, they're really, really good actors. So they're going to be good. But are they going to be up to par with Jessica Biel's performance? I don't think they're going to get anywhere close to the amount of screen time that Jessica Biel got in Season 1, of course. But can they kind of, the two of them kind of make up for Jessica Biel's absence and push this story in Season 2? Remains to be seen. But again, I mean, it's just proving this point where it's a limited series, only 8 episodes. You got to watch now. And that's another reason why as well. Because a limited series, they can market it differently, right? They can say, it's a limited series, it's only on for 8 weeks in the summer, so you gotta tune in, right? Like, you gotta be there, you gotta tune in, and again, that just gets them more viewers, better ratings, and everything like that, opposed to if it's a Season 1, then, it just kind of carries on, and whatever happens, happens. So, that's The Sinner. Again, I'm looking forward to Season 2. I don't think it's going to be as good as Season 1, but is it going to be close? Is it going to be just really bad and kind of tarnish the reputation of The Sinner? I think it's possible at this point. I really do. But it kind of looks interesting. The couple trailers that I've seen for it, they look intriguing, so it should be interesting. And then we get The Terror. Now, this is another limited series. And, sorry, I want to mention with The Sinner, Season 2 is an anthology series. Or an anthology season, right? So I'm going to talk about that in just a couple minutes. So, The Terror. This, again, another limited series. AMC advertises this, a 10-episode limited time series happening this spring, right? Like, all these advertisements, you know how they sound, whatever. It's a limited series. They make it out to be like that. Again, based off a book. They basically use up all the material in the show. I've heard that they actually used quite a bit of a different ending than the book in the television series. So, it is what it is. But again, they still finished the material in the book. And again, they're out of material, and that's it for season 1, and they say it's a limited series. And what do we get? The Terror becomes very popular, the viewership, the ratings, just everything. Like, it was a really, really good show for AMC. I still think it's one of the worst marketing of a television show I've ever seen. I truly do believe that. But, anyways, still very popular show, very good for AMC. And what do we get? The Terror Season 2, renewed, announced last week, and I talked about that in the episode. So again, it's just proving, like, limited series, not really, right? If it gets popular, gets enough views, gets the ratings, and makes the money, that's probably the main key, it makes the network money, nope, we gotta go with a Season 2, and we gotta capitalize on this, right? So, and the same with Big Little Lies. I mean, that, like, they got a lot of awards and the popularity and everything like that. And, yep, we're coming back for Season 2. Right? So, is what it is. But that's just, again, those 4 examples kind of proving my point. And then what I want to quickly touch on is Sharp Objects coming up on HBO. So this is the Amy Adams series. I talked a little bit about it last episode when I was previewing my summer schedule. And this is on my schedule. July 8th it's coming out. So 8 days from now. And it's advertised as an 8-episode limited series. So let's see if it actually is a limited series, because it sounds very good. Amy Adams is obviously going to be kind of guiding the show, right? I think she's going to get a lot of viewers, so I think this show is going to do well, and the ratings are going to be there. I think HBO is going to make some money off of this one, and the popularity is going to be there. So what will happen to the show? Will they get another season? And I think if this Sharp Objects on HBO is able to get a season 2, I think this just really continually proves my point of how a limited series is really no longer limited. I mean, they really they're not limited series. Like, that term just does not have the same meaning as it did, some even like 2 or 3 years ago, right? Like, that was a true thing, like a mini series, a limited series, like that was a true thing. But now it's like, it's just not really true at all. But anyways, so yeah, so we'll have to see with Sharp Objects coming up on HBO this summer. If it does well, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to season 2. Now, again, maybe you guys can correct me on this because I don't know everything about Sharp Objects. I have heard, though, like, it is a mini-series. They've advertised it as that, but The Sinner also did that. The Terror also did that. And now they are, coming out with season 2. So, it's hard to trust them on it. Like, it's hard to trust them at this point, for sure. But, so obviously, I think some of the reasons for this, the popularity with television shows right now is really crazy. Like, there is a huge craze for television, and I'm totally part of that. I love watching TV, various television shows. I watch probably too many of them, honestly, to keep track of. I have some serious problems remembering what shows are on and everything, catching up with all of them, as I mentioned a lot in these episodes. But anyways, so the popularity is obviously what's influencing these series. If television just in general wasn't as popular right now, this stuff wouldn't really be happening, right? Like, they wouldn't have enough viewers and the ratings and the money to go ahead and be like, okay, well, we're going to do another season, right? So that's obviously a big one. And then, again, I mean, okay, so networks care more about the popularity, money, and the ratings rather than the storytelling, right? And again, but can we really blame them? Like, honestly, like, networks, I mean, and I'm not just talking about network TV, like CBS, and, like, NBC and ABC, like, that stuff. I'm just talking about, like, HBO, like, anything. Any network, like, any channel, pretty much out there, any provider, basically, like, can you really blame them, though? Like, if they're going to make a lot of money off something and it's really popular and they're getting the ratings they want, and they, basically greenlight another season, like, can you really blame them for that, though? Like, right? But I really think it's true. I think they care more about that than the storytelling, because 13 Reasons Why is a big example of that one, right? Like, you really did not need another season 2 in terms of storytelling and the actual, meaning of the whole story and the whole theme that was set up in season 1. Yet, it was popular, it got the ratings, and they, greenlit a season 2. So, another point I want to say as well is the anthology series, like, have become a much more popular as of recent. Before it was kind of like a brand new idea. Maybe not brand new, but it was like a pretty fresh idea with Fargo, right? Like, that was a pretty, kind of revolutionary, if you will, idea then. And I don't know if it really was, but, anyways, Fargo was one of the only ones, okay, let's just say that, was one of the only anthology series on at the time, right? And, for example, The Sinner, The Terror, like, just right there, two shows just as of the last... Well, Sinner came out last year and The Terror came out this year, so within the last, 8 months-ish, are both now being anthology series when they were both advertised as limited series to start with. So this has just become a much more popular thing again as of recent. I don't know. Like, I like anthology series. I think I've only seen, how many? I think I've only seen, one. I really don't think I've seen that many. Yeah, I think I've really only seen one. I think, which is American Crime Story, right? Because they obviously it's kind of based around the same theme, right? And that's what these shows are. Like The Terror, it's going to be based around, a terror, right? Like event, like something like season 1. And The Sinner, again, something like season 1 story, but obviously with different characters and everything like that. And The Sinner is even unique as well because Bill Pullman is still in season 2. And he was in season 1. Like most anthology series, like you don't have any carryover between the cast, right? So anyways, and so yeah, it's just really become a lot more popular. American Crime Story and American Horror Story are kind of two popular ones as well for this. I didn't even think of those ones. And I've seen American Crime Story, and I like it. It's definitely interesting, and it makes the shows able to kind of do a whole new thing and brand the show in a whole new way each season, right? And so I think that's something that's kind of is attractive, to showrunners and networks, where they can kind of just put a whole new spin on a season rather than having the show and they're kind of buckled down to the same sort of advertising, the same sort of marketing, and the same sort of branding of the show every single season, right? So I think that's also definitely another thing to think about. And so in my opinion, just to wrap things up here, this main discussion, shows should no longer be advertised as a limited series, even though it may get them more popularity and viewership. Obviously, right? Limited series, it's going to get more, intrigue and more interest than just saying, oh, well, season 1 is out. You know what I mean? So those kind of words are kind of used, to garner that more popularity, that viewership and everything like that. If it doesn't mean what it means anymore, then why even call a show a limited series? I mean, if it's going to get a season 2, if it's popular enough, then that's not a limited series, right? And so that's my opinion there. Obviously, you get some shows that are mini-series that are actually mini-series, like you have the one with Laura Dern that was on, I think it was HBO recently. I think that's like a 4-episode miniseries. You had, was it The Fourth Estate? I think it was The Fourth Estate on Showtime, I believe. That was just on recently too. So, and those are like, 3 or 4 episodes long. And those are actually true miniseries. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's different than, say, The Sinner with 8 episodes and that being called a limited series, right? So there's still a difference there, and I totally respect those kind of mini-series ones, but I don't really respect a show calling themselves a limited series and then getting to season 2 just when it becomes popular. You know what I mean? And I didn't actually do research to find a show that was a limited series that stayed a limited series because of the lack of popularity and the ratings, but I'm sure you could find them. Like, if you search for that, I'm sure you can find that very easily, and see the discrepancy between these, right? Like, if a limited series gets the ratings, then it's going to get another season, right? And again, like, I just want to say, like, I don't have a huge problem, right, with a limited series being no longer limited. Like, I'm not, like, saying I hate the idea or anything like that. I'm just saying, for a fan of these shows, I just really don't want a limited series to turn into, let's say, an anthology series or a 13 Reasons Why, where you make a season 2 that really didn't need to be made, and then it just tarnishes season 1, and then I don't really like the show, or I don't really feel the same way about the show anymore. Right, so that's my main argument with this long, limited series kind of stuff. So, anyways, again, please share what what you think of this, your thoughts of this. Let's discuss, right? Like, let's discuss this, and see if we agree, see if we disagree. I'd love to discuss. So for sure. Anyways, so yeah, that just about wraps up the main discussion here. And yeah, okay. So let's move on to the next segment here, which is something I like and something I don't like from this week in television. So, something I like. Okay, sorry. Even though... Okay, yeah, sorry. I mixed up some things here. Yeah, okay. So something I like from this week in television, Danny McBride and John Goodman to star in HBO televangelist comedy. And this one's from Hollywood Reporter article. Again, these articles will be, or not again, this is the first time mentioning it this episode, but these articles will be posted in the description of the video after it is published, so not right now when it is live, but when it is published, these articles will be in the description, so you can go on and read those. Both of these articles are actually pretty long, and they have a lot of stuff in them. I'm just touching on the, really the basics of these articles, so if you want to go on and read them for yourself and kind of explore what else is said in the articles, then by all means, please go ahead and do that. So, the article reads, fresh off Vice Principals, Danny McBride is lining up his next act on HBO. The premium cable network has handed out a pilot order to the comedy The Righteous Gemstones. McBride created the project and will pen the script, executive produce, direct, and star in the story of a world-famous televangelist family with a long tradition of deviance, greed, and charitable work, all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. John Goodman, Roseanne, will star as Eli Gemstone, the patriarch of the Gemstone family. McBride will portray Jesse Gemstone, the eldest son and heir to their throne. So, this sounds really interesting. I really loved Eastbound and Down with Danny McBride. That was just a really, you turn that on just for some laughs, right? Like, that was really, really funny. Will Ferrell in Eastbound and Down is, like, unforgettable, like, his character in that. Like, just really, really funny stuff. And obviously Vice Principals was pretty successful for Danny McBride as well. I think they only had 2 seasons of that, though, but still very successful, right? Like, that was, a really good series as well. So he's back again with HBO to do another kind of series, and John Goodman is joining him this time, so should be interesting. My question, though, and it does cover this a little bit in the article later on, is how is he going to do this, the Connor spinoff, and this series as well? Like, if this pilot is picked up, he's doing, like, I guess this Connor's spinoff, like, that's not hard to film. Like, they're pretty much in this house the whole time, for the show, like, and filming. So, maybe that doesn't take that long. And maybe this won't take long either. Like, I don't know how many episodes this is going to have in the first season or anything like that. So, should be interesting, though. John Goodman, obviously a really likable guy and a really good actor. So he should be good. And Danny McBride, of course. This just sounds funny. Like, he's John Goodman's son. Like, that already just sounds like a recipe for some, hilarious moments in this series. And a televangelist comedy. Just, kind of a funny, thing there to describe it anyways. So HBO, picking up this, or at least ordering the pilot. We're not sure if the actual series is getting ordered yet, but I would assume so. I mean, Danny McBride is past projects with HBO. I have no doubt that this will be, picked up for the whole season. So, anyways, just something I like. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure when we'll see it, right? I'm guessing, I don't even know, maybe 2019, I would think. I don't think we'd see it this year, especially if they haven't even started filming, of course, yet. So, 2019, I would think that we may see this one called The Righteous Gemstones. And the name might change, too. Like, I don't know. So, but anyways, just keep that on my radar for now. But I'm looking forward to that if it turns into something big. So, anyways, that is something I like. So we actually have 2 something I likes this week. No kind of bad news this week. So something I like. Breaking Bad creator desperately wants Walt and Jesse in Better Call Saul. This one's from Entertainment Weekly. And this was part of their new issue, I guess. Is it this week? No, is it a week? Yeah, Entertainment Weekly. Well, anyways, so yeah, the issue this week is about the Breaking Bad reunion, and on the cover, it's like all the cast together. So it's actually a pretty cool thing that they did here, because it's now their 10 years. 2008 was the first season of Breaking Bad, and now it's been 10 years since that, first season. So pretty cool stuff here, but the title of this article is really misleading. Creator desperately wants Walt and Jesse. Like, it's not true. Like, if you read on to the article, Vince Gilligan never says that. I'm going to read, of course, what he says. He never says that. No one ever says that in this article. So the title is very, very misleading. But anyways, still an interesting article. So, and this one is quite long. Like, it is quite a read. So again, if you want to go on and read the whole thing, please be my guest, but I'm just going to kind of summarize the main things here. So creators Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould have indicated that more Breaking Bad characters will be getting the call in the future. They actually have it in, okay, yeah, it's, it's okay, but, it's pretty funny. But it's hard to argue that the two most anticipated guests wouldn't be the meth-making duo of Walter White, Bryan Cranston, and Jesse Pinkman, Aaron Paul. Both actors have said in the past that they are open to reprising their roles on Better Call Saul. So, obviously, I think we both knew that, I'm going with the article. We knew that, right? I mean, as fans, and if you've been paying attention, we kind of knew that. Ever since Better Call Saul was made, that both actors have kind of been open to that, right? And they've said that publicly. Gilligan believes that enough time has passed and so much anticipation has built that a brush by may not quite do the trick. So this is Vince Gilligan. It wouldn't feel as satisfying if it was just a cameo or an Alfred Hitchcock walkthrough, he says. I think we've waited long enough. We damn well better have a good reason for them to show up. I just hope we figure it out, because I've got to hear, yeah, bitch, one more time. Better Call Saul returns to AMC for Season 4 on August 6th. Production on Season 4 recently wrapped, so it may be a while before you see Walt and or Jesse in a better place. But in the meantime, feel free to do some blue sky dreaming. So, kind of a cool article here by Entertainment Weekly. Obviously, it's written by someone who knows the Breaking Bad show very well. So anyways, the blue sky, dreaming or whatever like that. So that's a nice touch. And that's actually the end of the article there. But of course, there's a lot more. So again, I mean, nowhere in this article does Vince Gilligan or Peter Gould say he desperately wants Walt and Jesse in there. And even in this quote, like he's saying, we've waited long enough. I want to see them again. He's not saying that. So, anyways, obviously a misleading title, but still a very interesting article here. We've got to hear, yeah, bitch, one more time. I think every fan wants that, right? Like, that's just our dream. If you're a Breaking Bad fan or a Better Call Saul fan, you really want to hear that again. So, anyways, obviously good news, but then again at the end they say Season 4 recently wrapped, so maybe a while. So they're kind of confirming here, or at least Entertainment Weekly is kind of, conveying that they aren't in Season 4, which is interesting. I don't know if they can confirm that. Like, did Gilligan actually say in their interview they're not in Season 4? Because I don't know, I'm really not sure. Of course, we saw that picture of Aaron Paul at the AMC Network Studios, right? I think it was like a month ago, or a couple months ago. So, is he in Season 4? Like, how does Entertainment Weekly know that they're not in Season 4? But anyways, they may have been confirmed to them, and they're just kind of breaking the news. I'm not sure. But in the article, it sounds like they're not in Season 4, which I was kind of expecting at least one of them to kind of at least do like a walkthrough like Vince Gilligan is saying here in Season 4, but we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm looking forward to Season 4 nonetheless. I think it's going to be a really good season, probably the best season of the show yet. So obviously we'll have to see, but just an interesting article here. So I thought I'd, make it a part of the episode this week. So if you want to check it out again, it'll be in the description after the video is published. And it is kind of cool that Vince Gilligan confirms here that he doesn't think it'll be satisfying as to have just a walkthrough. And that's exactly what I thought he would do, to be honest. That's just the kind of guy he is, right? The kind of, director and creator, writer, to have Walter White just kind of walk through the background in one of these episodes. That would just totally be a Vince Gilligan thing to do. But he says, no, that's not going to be satisfying enough for us. We have to make them a part of the story and see them for more than one scene. So that's also good news too. I would love that as well. So anyways, guys, I'll just about do it for something I like and something I don't like. Now I'll quickly touch on my weekly notables. from this week. So this is a new segment for season 2 where I break down, or not break down, but just kind of talk a little bit about my notable episodes. So the best episode this week that I've seen personally, and then a notable performance. So the best performance by an actor or actress this week that I have seen once again. So my notable episode from this week is Yellowstone, season 1, episode 2. Kill the Messenger, it's called. And honestly, Yellowstone, the premiere, I was kind of on and off about it. I go to watch episode 2, I get a few minutes in, I'm like, do I really want to watch this? Like, and I'm being honest with you guys. I mean, I was like, do I really want to watch this? Like, is this, you know, do I really want to spend my time doing this? Because it was an hour episode. Like, I was like, well, do I really want to do this? And let me tell you, episode 2 was really, really good. I mean, to follow up that premiere, I really liked episode 2. There were a couple things that I questioned. I'm like, would he really do that? Like, one of the characters went really far. If you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. Like, he went really far for something that didn't seem like someone would go that far. But anyways, I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously, if you haven't seen it. But yeah, it was a very good episode, and it's kind of gotten my interest now. So I'm definitely going to check out the next episode to see what happens. And I really like this. I actually like this better than the premiere. Like, I really like this episode. Luke Grimes, again, just kind of, validating what I said about him in episode 1. Like, he is a really good actor, and he's putting on a great performance. Kevin Costner was great in this episode, too, again. But yeah, so, and my notable performance for this week is Santiago Cabrera in Salvation. I don't know why I forgot his name in the review I did, but anyways, that is up on the channel if you want to go watch that if you have seen this episode. But it is season 2, episode 1, Fallout. He just did a great job in this one. He had a lot of screen time, granted, but, you know, I just really liked his performance in this episode, him becoming the vice president. I'm not going to spoil anything else, but him becoming the vice president and that speech at the end was what really sealed the deal for me and made him the performance of the week. So, anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for the weekly notables, and then the Q&A segment here briefly. I'm just going to see if, we have any questions and stuff. Oh, Braden, thanks for coming on. What up? Nothing really. Thank you. Can you do a review of Ambience Season 4? Okay. All right. That is I'm probably not going to do a review of that, Braden, but, thanks for the question. Braden, he's a good friend. And yeah, he's talking about Ambience Season 4. Not a television show, but anyways, something we were a part of a while ago. But anyways, guys, so that'll just about do it. Thank you for those of you who tuned in live to the live episode this week. I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate Brain stopping by. Thank you for stopping by and discussing, or like at least putting out a comment, asking what's up and stuff like that. So I really encourage if you tune in to live episodes Saturdays, usually about Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and leave a comment, join the discussion, and good things happen. I really like discussing with you guys about this stuff. So, anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for episode 2 of season 2 of Let's Talk Television. This week's episode. I really like to thank you guys for tuning in this week. During the live episode, and of course after the episode is public, of course. And also, I'd like to thank you guys for the support on the channel. I think we're almost at 55,000 video views. The channel's been growing so much as of late. I think we're at like 137 subscribers, I think, now. Just really awesome stuff. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys. And yeah, so that'll just about do it for this week's episode of Let's Talk Television. Of course, we will see you next week. Hopefully, I will have this collab worked out. I'm really excited for it. I think you guys are going to enjoy it too. Really looking forward to it. So hopefully that can be put together by next week. But if it's not, hopefully the week after that. But anyways, again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for Let's Talk Television. See you guys.